You have a dog at home, which makes for an excellent burglary protection. That's what you believe, but today we will find out if this is actually true. That's the reason we break into various houses where different breeds of dogs reside. And I can definitely say we've uncovered truly astonishing things. It actually really depends. What it depends on, dog trainer Daniela will explain to us. Happy to be here with you today.
I'm glad to be part of this too.
All right, let's get started now. We're going over to a house to reenact the break-in scenario.
Sure.
What do you think will happen?
I believe the dogs will definitely bark. My Great Dane, for example, already barks in the car, as you hear. But how she behaves afterward is hard for me to gauge because you can't really practice something like that.
Is your Great Dane trained or more of a family pet?
Raised, I'd say. She is well behaved, but she's not trained. I haven't done any protection dog sports or anything else.
There is quite a large number of dogs back there. If you had to select the perfect family dog from all the ones that are there, which specific one would you choose?
The Labrador.
What kind of dog would you personally recommend you get for ensuring effective burglary protection?
German Shepherd, Doberman, Great Dane.
Can you sort it into categories like family dog, guard dog, or by breeds?
Yes, certainly. Dogs that are inherently territorial, possess socially motivated aggression, or exhibit resource-based aggression and defend them are obviously well-suited for guarding purposes.
Shall we attempt the first break-in?
Yeah, let's go.
Now we are here at the house. We're also about to break in. Daniela, you have prepared.
As you prepared the cameras, I prepared the Great Dane. I assume when she spots the intruder at the window, she'll surely react.
We still have a phone here. We can look inside live. This is what it looks like, so we can see what happens inside. And you can comment a little on what the Great Dane is doing. The Great Dane stayed out longer this morning and is already tired now.
Yes.
Now he's coming. I don't hear anything. No barking.
Me neither.
Well, it didn't take long. He came through the patio door into the house, past the Great Dane in the living room. The Great Dane did not bark. Next burglary attempt. Now there's a golden retriever. Golden retrievers are family dogs.
Exactly. A classic family dog, friendly, open-minded.
Burglar and dog don't know each other. And you expected the dog to bark loudly?
Yeah, that he barks a little because he might lash out from excitement, but all right.
He seems to be stealing something. And here comes our burglar out the front door. And the dog is still not barking, right? Yes, we didn't quite expect that, but that's how it is. A dog that's trained to apprehend someone. Is it still really super family friendly?
That could be the social group he knows, like his family might already be protecting their own children as well. But it's not a cuddly dog, and you have to look at how often it has already shown aggressive behavior, how often it has already bitten. Then, of course, the risk increases that he does it to people you wouldn't want him to.
So, I can't just invite friends over to my place and let the dog run around freely. That could become problematic.
I wouldn't really proceed with that at all. You absolutely must manage the situation by moving the dog or clearly instructing him on what to do. It's quite dangerous otherwise.
Let's consider two examples. A burglar breaks in, and in the first case, the family is not at home, leaving the dog alone by itself. And in case two, the dog and the family are at home. Is that then a big difference for the dog?
It also depends on the breed and, of course, on the upbringing. Upbringing and bond. Does the dog have a connection with you or the entire family? Does he view it as his social group that he is eager to defend? This readiness to defend, this social aggression, he must bring it along somehow due to his breed.
What actually happens in a situation if a dog, let's say, viciously bites the mailman? Who'd be to blame?
A mailman is not a burglar either, so you are definitely fully liable. And it's uncomfortable because most people here in the countryside have at least a good relationship with the mailman and they do rely on them. I don't know any customer who wants the mailman to also be chased away by the dog.
So, next break-in attempt. Daniela, could we try a completely different type of dog?
All right, maybe we could try something on the smaller side.
Yes, many certainly have them at home.
Yes, which could at the very least indicate that it's definitely the right time to call the police, since I would assume it's not actually suitable for biting.
Next attempt. The burglar is coming back in through the patio door. He goes into the house. You see, it's relatively quick. He's inside. And the burglar quickly makes his way through the entire living room. No?
Yeah.
Yep. Takes a small item. Shall we try again?
After having 2, almost 3 friendly dogs with the Great Dane, I would now like to try another one, the Caucasian Shepherd dog from abroad who has guarding in their blood.
The Caucasian Shepherd dog. What happened?
He was aggressive, so he wasn't as friendly as the other family dogs anymore. However, it made no difference whether I was there where he knows me. So he showed the same reaction, the same defensive attitude. I suppose if he had gone inside, he would have become even more aggressive. But I'm not entirely sure if he would have bitten him at this point. He would have caught and probably wouldn't have let him go. That could definitely be the case.
Okay, our burglar needs to break in a few more times. Good if he hasn't been bitten yet. The difference was here. The Caucasian Shepherd dog was outside, and you once said, when it comes to burglary protection, it's generally smarter if it's a trained guard dog. When he's out there, he'll be even more effective, correct?
Absolutely. When a guard dog, particularly one that's by breed a guard dog and has grown accustomed to the task of guarding, that's typically what dogs do during the nighttime hours. I know very few family dogs that actually keep an eye out or stand guard at night. They're also lying comfortably in bed or lounging on the sofa, sleeping soundly and not guarding the house outside.
The livestock guardian dog? Is it less family friendly? Can the mother-in-law still visit, or the grandchildren?
Bad. It doesn't really belong in our regions, especially since where the dogs come from, Romania, Russia, they naturally have houses and a lot of space. If we have something like this, we need high fences. It's mandatory, high fences. Something like that as a domestic pet, I would say, is definitely not kept appropriately. We simply can't manage that scenario here at all.
Now, there are still individuals who claim that you can also knock out such a dog if necessary. We're not looking to give a tutorial on how to do it, but is it conceivable?
Of course, it's conceivable, but in my opinion, we're no longer talking about a chance burglar. Rather, it seems more likely to be professional burglars who have meticulously scoped it out over an extended period of time and figured out exactly how to proceed.
If I could paint the ideal, is there a family dog where I can bring the grandchildren along, invite friends over, even the mother-in-law can come? And at the same time, do I have an extremely effective watchdog that consistently and reliably frightens off any potential burglars?
You can have either a dedicated security and guard dog for protection or a family-friendly pet that's very gentle and kind-hearted, like a Labrador. The boundary isn't really such that it's both friendly and also protective.
We'll take another walk now. Have a conversation about when the dogs are actually at home and when they are not around. When they're not around, the effective burglary protection isn't actually available. Daniela, a dog isn't always going to stay at home. When you take your dog out for a walk or bring it along on a trip or vacation, the dog obviously won't be there to protect the house.
Some people also take their dogs to the office.
Some dogs are quite frequently taken along as well because unfortunately they haven't yet learned how to stay at home on their own. And so either barking or being scared, just these separation anxieties, then unfortunately the dog is taken everywhere. It's also rarely at home.
Is it possible to provide a rough average figure? How many hours is a dog not at home because you're out taking it for a walk?
So just going for a walk, I'd probably say around about 2 to 3 hours for most people.
And is there an average for how often your clients go out during the day?
From my experience, the clients I know about 2 or 3 times. Certainly a longer walk and then also perhaps a few additional shorter ones.
Do the majority typically have fairly consistent dog walking routines?
Without a doubt, the majority of them certainly do.
Just reflect on how many hours a day or how regularly or irregularly your dog is not at home. The walk was really quite nice. Now we continue on to the next house. There's a new dog, next burglary attempt. Let's watch what happens. The border collie is quite reserved and rather hesitant and shy. In fact, well, you know, he is totally startled. And here is the opposite, a Belgian Shepherd dog that barks, with whom burglars are unlikely to dare enter the house so quickly. So if I have a trained guard dog at home whose primary responsibility is to keep intruders out, then it becomes quite challenging with my social interactions and relationships.
It's also a question of what exactly a trained guard dog is. Only official authorities are allowed to train dogs to bite people. So you can't train the dog to be aggressive, that's illegal in Germany. You can only do sports here, so you can participate in dog sports, but I already see a risk there. I was once walking with a friend, she had a hoverwart, did protection work where the dog bites into the sleeve, you know. And we were walking and a passerby came along and the dog lunged forward, confronting this lady. Well, I found it really uncomfortable because she was genuinely scared. And I always think that it's a problem that the dog really needs to know when it's working or when it's doing sports, where he's allowed to. Sure, most people say if he doesn't see that bite sleeve, he won't do it. But I've personally witnessed it live where the dogs really mix things up occasionally.
Tell me, if someone says to you, I don't need burglary protection because I have a dog at home, is there a response to that? I mean, well, a standard response might be difficult, but what would you say to that?
We saw how Matilda reacted. I would have assessed it differently too. It's certainly not a dependable form of protection. And to be honest, I really wouldn't want my dog to have to face a serious confrontation with a burglar.
Daniela, thanks a lot for your excellent prep and the expertise you've shared with everyone.
Sure, it was something different for me and I really enjoyed working with you all.
If you want to contact Daniela, I'll put the contact details in the description. In all the break-in attempts we've done, the dogs actually reacted relatively unspectacularly. We actually expected a bit more. With some dog breeds in particular, we actually thought it was getting down to business and the dog was defending the house. Much more than we saw. Does your dog now provide effective burglar protection? It depends. Do you have a family dog or perhaps even a trained guard dog? Are you usually at home with the dog or is the dog often left alone at home? It might behave differently in that scenario. And is the dog even at home? Because if it's not there, the burglary protection is a moot point. Either way, a dog can certainly complement your security measures. Whether a dog alone provides enough security is something you need to consider. To learn more about burglary protection, subscribe to my channel so you won't miss out on new content. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.